when loans are more expensive to source, what is going to happen? It depends. Either this is going to reduce profitability, or if the business decides to pass it on to the ultimate consumer, then the problem that we're complaining about now, that prices are very, very high, which, by the way, the central bank governor said that, Yemi Cardoso said that he's well aware of, is going to get even harsher, even steeper. However, it looks like why CBN is being as, quote-unquote, hawkish as it is being, is that it just has to keep tabs on the economy and especially the financial systems, and it can't let inflation run away. I think we were saying on the program some days ago that if we ever get into the territory of hyperinflation, as Mr. Cardoso had said at the time, then it's a heck of a job getting out of it. And so that's why they are, doing all that they can to keep things well within bounds. So we'll be looking at that and how we do get out of it. It was stated by the central bank governor that, look, increased inflows were observed, talking about things like diaspora returns. And apart from diaspora returns, there's also capital importation. But we are still in a very tight corner. Of course, we've been told always that what needs to be done is that we need to be producing something. We need to be earning more foreign exchange, and especially agriculture. We need to really be able to up our agricultural output. But even if we do that, there still is the problem of getting it to the market, getting it to where it needs to be. And everybody knows that there are security challenges all over the place. So this is not making the picture easier at all. So these are the dire situations that Nigeria finds itself in. And we'll talk about this, and we'll take our inputs from the home as well. Our guest will be Mr. Omorui Edoegiawere. He's a startup business lawyer and economist. But in the meantime, let me play this report that went out upon the CBN announcing at its 296th Monetary Policy Committee meeting held between the 22nd and the 23rd of the month, that the interest rates did have to go up by another 50 basis points. I think that's the 13th time this year alone.
The CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso announced this after the Apex Bank's 296th Monetary Policy Committee (NPC) in Abuja. The NPC also retained a cash reserve ratio of deposit money banks at 45% and merchant bank at 14%, retained the liquidity ratio at 30%. Mr. Cardoso also said the committee was mindful of the effect of rising prices on households and businesses and expressed its resolve to take necessary measures to bring inflation under control.
The prevailing insecurity in food producing areas and high cost of transportation of farm produce are also contributing to this trend. Members were therefore not oblivious to the urgent benefit of addressing these challenges, as it will offer a sustainable solution to the persistent pressure on food prices. Also noted in its consideration,
said despite the June 2024 rise in inflation, prices are expected to stabilize soon as the monetary policy gains further traction, in addition to further measures by the fiscal authority to address food inflation.
The committee noted that the increase in the level of external reserves would further build confidence for a more stable exchange rate, and thus urged the bank to explore available avenues to improve inflows, especially through diaspora remittances. Members noted the efforts of the federal government and private sector towards improving domestic refining capacity, as this is expected to reduce foreign exchange currently being expended on the importation of refined petroleum products.
The next MPC is September 23rd and 24th. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, our thanks to Ademola Lawrence. So there we have it. It looks like it's not yet Uhuru in terms of the challenge, especially the organized private sector has already, put this out that, in fact, they are saying that while they understand everything that the central bank and the managers of the economy are about, they referred to wanting a more creative approach, whatever that means. That we have to have a more creative approach. And I guess what they mean is that there are perhaps other ways of achieving the same objective, which is of containing inflation, that would not result either in putting prices up when businesses who had sourced, loans at a higher rate are passing this on to consumers. And of course, they don't want their bottom line affected as well. So I don't know, it'll be interesting. Maybe you could call in. As I said, we'll be having a startup lawyer and economist to talk to us about it. But there are many people out there that are keeping an eye on it as well. The one thing that is certain to the person who doesn't even understand very much about all of this is that things are not getting easier. Prices are not coming down fast enough as they would want them to. They are coming down perhaps, but not yet on a scale that people can say that they have actually noticed an improvement. And by the way, talking of improvement, I guess it's always going to be difficult because here we are at, headline inflation is at 34.1%. And according to the experts, the CBN and all of those kind of people, they are actually projecting a growth, an economic growth of something like 3.38%. The IMF is a bit more modest, says that maybe 3.1%. All of this is saying that we are still very much in the trenches, so to speak. So this is the situation. The ordinary man wants to see a change in direction. The stress on his pocket is getting to be unbearable. I hear that I have a caller. Mike?
Yes, this is Mike, yes.
Good morning, Mike. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes.
I heard everything you are saying. My suggestion
yes.
Is that in this country, it will not go well when you stop where people will benefit something. One of the things is that transportation. So for example, I travel to my village where where we always farm. Are you getting me right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Where we always farm and get food. Anytime you come to my village, you see surplus of food. But recently, I went to go and bury my mom. I went there. There's no food. The food that we saw to buy is very costly. Very costly. So when I asked the question, what is happening in this place that the food is costly? They said the X-Men wouldn't allow them to farm. When they go to farm, the X-Men, the X-Men will shoot and kill so much of the farmers. So I don't know why this is happening in this country, because God has given us everything. I don't know why we are suffering in the farm. We cannot farm. In transportation, fuel, all those things, we cannot meet up. Why? The country is very, very bad. I'm telling you. One, I want to let you know one thing in this country. What will make
okay. Sorry, Mike, we lost you, but thank you for calling in. And you hit on two aspects of this whole thing. One, the whole transportation costs. Following the whole situation with the removal of subsidy, Prices have gone through the roof, even as the federal authorities see what they can do to ameliorate that. And then there is the security aspect where even from source, we're not probably getting as much as we could be getting. And so this is putting a pressure on everybody and everywhere. Well, thank you very much, Mike, for calling in. So this is I think it is a bleak. I think it's fair to talk about it as a bleak outlook that we have. And if we didn't know before, because CBN has to work with all of those indices, the 296th Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on the 22nd and 23rd, yep, that's it, 22nd and 23rd of July, have highlighted this by the figures that they have thrown out. The CBN has found that it has had to yet again raise the interest rates. And what this means in plain language is that it's going to cost businesses more to source loans. And once they've got it, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to take a cut in their bottom line? Or are they going to pass this on to the consumer out there? Your guess is as good as mine. Business people will tell you that they're not set up as charities. But our guest has arrived, and so I can say good morning to Mr. Omori. Mr. Omori Edogiawere, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Always exciting to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Yes. Okay, I'll just take one more caller, and then I'll come to you. Good morning, Mr. Olaleko.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
First, just want to appeal to Nigeria that we understand the situation of our challenges in Nigeria at the moment. Honestly, sir, let me be honest with you. The condition of our country, the food rising prices, I know insecurity is part of it, but it's everywhere in the world. I can tell you categorically that I used to live, I'm living in the outskirts of London.
Okay.
I used to go to 2 to 3 years when I go to Dustin, for example, to buy food stuff. I take £150. But now today, it costs me like £600 to buy the same thing I buy £150. So, but my appeal to government today is to just help Nigeria. We know food prices rising everywhere in the world. But if government can help in terms of area of medical care, transportation,
okay,
the state governor should do a lot to help. Not everything federal government can do. State government should help in terms of transport, medical care, area of security, even agriculture. State government can help. But in a situation where people will shout about federal government, to come and help, federal government cannot do. Federal government is not everywhere. The state governor should be able to help. President Tinubu cannot help. He cannot go to Anambra, where he come from, in Agulu, where he come from, can help them to fix the light or fix the road there, which should be failed to do for 8 years when he was governor. So federal government cannot do everything. Everybody call them federal government. Federal government cannot do everything.
All right,
the state government should be more responsible.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mike, for calling in. And thank you very much, Marui. So here we are. The organized private sector, they put it out, it's been put out there that they, of course, they first of all bemoan, the increase in the interest rates. But when they said that they were really looking forward to maybe the CBN finding a more creative way of addressing this situation, I wonder what they meant by that. Maybe it's some of the things that Mike said. You could do some other things to cause relief for the people. I don't know. Give me your take on the situation we have on our hands here.
Well, I like the word creative that you have used, because I have sat here more than 4 or 5 times, and I have said, at the time when the CBN governor and his team came on board, I said they've got to do things differently, and they will need to do a bit more fiscal engineering.
Okay.
Thinking outside the box.
I recall that.
Good, you recall that.
Great.
I haven't seen that happen. I have, in the last couple of months, seen reactionary measures. But you see, I think that the MPC is coming to terms, right? And the CBN is beginning to realize what the issue is with food inflation, and that there are socioeconomic factors that are now affecting our economy adversely and affecting the price of staple products, security, transportation, logistics. And really, I have been screaming over the top on these issues. Food inflation is a product of two things: the insecurity in the major areas where food production is done in large scale, and the failure of our logistics supply chain.
Yeah, especially transportation. That's it.
So
that's what it is.
And until we fix these issues, we'll continue to curry around it. They've not started increasing, you know, because let's look at the dynamics. The only way to curb inflation is to make it more difficult for people to access cash, right? That really typically is a technical way to curb the inflation. So when you increase rates, it's more expensive for people to borrow money. And so if people can't borrow money because of the cost of borrowing, they now have to look for ingenious ways or decide not to borrow at all. There's an opportunity cost to that, right? And this is the 7th time in 4 months, right? It's becoming one too many. So it's as if every meeting we're waiting for how many points that will be added. This time they added, I think, 500 basis points, right? So we're wondering, okay, next month, what next? But until we look at those socioeconomic issues, until we realize that, okay, so so I think that what should happen is government should do a graph. And let's say, look, what are the basic staple meals that cut across the entire country? What are the areas that produce these staple meals? What are the challenges these areas are facing? Fix those challenges and flood the markets. If security is a problem for the major rice production spots in this country, fix that. State of emergency, right? I should expect that by now the Minister of Agriculture should be giving weekly reports to the general public on what is being done to fix this food challenge. Well, like the last speaker said, you see, economic challenges is not unique to Nigeria, right? In the last couple of months, I spent it traveling a lot around the world. And one of the things I noticed is that, look, it's not business as usual anywhere, right? Everyone is tightening their belts, right? So I walk into some shops, right? Not to even call names, major grocery shops abroad. And I'm seeing that they are, shutting down a lot of shelves, right? And I'm wondering what's going on. So it's everywhere.
So
However,
it's a global
phenomenon. But the challenge is that, are we fixing our own challenges intentionally, right? You listen, we can continue to increase interest rates. If we don't fix the issues, we will increase interest rates until it will no longer be possible to increase, right? So we've got, and listen, it's a symbiotic relationship.
Maybe that's where the organized private sector said, can we get a bit more creative, please?
Creativity. So, like I said, draw a map. What are the basic staple food that cut across the entire country? Rice is one. Flour is another, right? Because bread and the likes that flow around it. Then focus on those areas. Invest heavily in security, in logistics, and get them to produce 3, 4, 5 times more than they ideally should produce, right? Now, road transport workers remain extremely integral to our food pricing in this country, and anybody who ignores them is wasting their time. So, it's key. Who is talking to the road transport workers? I had said this, Uncle Yori, you remember I sat down here and I said, look, the subsidy I'm expecting to see is the subsidy of that supply chain. So speak to the people. Now, they'll tell you petroleum products have gone up, right?
Yes.
So that is impacting on their costs. subsidize the logistic cost. So how much does it cost to move a trailer from Yobe to Lagos? If it's 10 naira, government slashes it to 4 naira. That impacts on the market cost, right?
But government can't do that by fiat.
No, so the point is there must be a collaborative relationship. Sit down with them. But when I say slash, I'm not saying government is slashing. Government is subsidizing. Government is saying, okay, let the sellers pay you 4 naira. We will bridge by paying you 6 naira, so that it does not impact heavily on the cost of the finished product, right? So we get that done. And then you focus on everywhere. So it's very easy. If I ask you today, what part of this country produces yam? You know. What part of this country do you get tomatoes in large quantities? You know. Onions, everything. You know where these areas are.
But one of the challenges might well be, from the point of view of government, that what you've just suggested, we'd like to do it, but we're talking about a paucity of funds. We're not flush, you know, might be one thing that government might say. There's a scarcity of funds competing for, you know, limited resources competing for so many crucial needs. So government is probably saying that we find ourselves as an almighty government, quote unquote, in the position of the ordinary individual.
Let me respond to that by saying government has intervention funds that there's a 1 billion or so fund that is going to impoverish Nigerians through the ministry of one of these ministries, all these monies that are going. What we need now is not giving stipends to indigent families. It's fixing our price problem. Because let me tell you how it works. If it costs me more to buy food, and it costs me more to pay for certain things, my dependents will receive less from me.
That's right.
Because it's costing me more to take care of my nuclear household. So if I actually have people who I give an allowance of 50,000 naira a month or 20,000 naira a month, it cuts down to 5 or 10,000 naira, or even nothing at all. That's what's happening now. And that's why people are getting hungrier by the day. Government cannot subsidize, government cannot replace this informal allowance arrangement that we have in this country, where the middle class helps sustain the lower class by virtue of their income and what they make. What is happening is that sustenance that is coming from the middle class is now being cut off because the middle class is now fighting for survival.
Indeed.
In fact, my friends will say to me that, there's nothing like middle class anymore. You're either rich or you're poor. You understand?
Yeah, it's
right?
Going to be like
so what's now happening is that government cannot subsidize this interregnum because this interregnum is very solid and remains the mainstay of our communal life as Africans and as Nigerians, where the uncle in Lagos, the uncle in Abuja, the uncle in Port Harcourt pays the school fees of the children in the village and sorts out those bills, and that's what helps those people survive. Now, if that is missing, 50,000, 10,000 will not subsidize it. So we need to fix that problem. And like I said, it's an interim thing. A 6 months intervention, right? Focus on these areas, fund all the issues that they are facing. If it's fertilizers, they need, give them ×3. If it's security, they need, give them more security. If you need to give them security in moving their asset, moving this product from production to storage and to the actual market, help them, right? So what is the data, right? If you go to mile 12 today, right, the data will still tell you that less foodstuff is coming in. And you have a food crisis.
Just as somebody called in to say.
You have a food crisis. It shouldn't be. What you should have should be more coming in. Now, government must make that more come in, at least for the next 6 months.
Let me take a break now, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about part of the devices that this government put in place was making the finance minister the coordinating minister of the economy. I thought that was so that they could have an overview of all of these angles that you're talking about, and there could be this sort of, well-coordinated response that all of these things that seem a bit far away to the uninitiated or knowledgeable, it wouldn't be the case with the minister, the coordinating minister of the economy. So what has gone wrong, or perhaps what is it that we are not understanding about what they are doing? Let me just take this break. We'll come back and we'll launch with that. And we'll also take your calls when we come back. Stay with us, please.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel. TVC News. First with breaking news. Experience information and entertainment like never before as TVC Breakfast takes your weekends to a whole new level. Introducing TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, your ultimate source of thrilling sports updates, insightful political analysis, and captivating entertainment news. Stay in the know with what's trending, catch up with the latest in sports, and immerse yourself in the latest buzz from the world of music and movies. Your weekends are no longer just days off, but moments packed with knowledge, excitement, and enjoyment. TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, only on TVC News.
Okay, welcome back, and our guest is Mr. Murray Edogiawere. He's a startup business lawyer and economist. And also to thank you very much, Pius Inakute, for calling in and for holding on for a while. Go ahead now before we continue. Go ahead, Pius.
Yes, I just want to find out the interest rate that we are talking about. Who is the benefactor? Is it the banks or the borrowers? And if the borrowers that are being affected, why is it government or the central bank increasing it? If it is the bank that is benefiting, why is they increasing it? Why are they leaving what they are supposed to do and they are increasing interest rate? There is hunger in the land. The first thing they're supposed to do is to checkmate the source of hunger. The insecurity in the land, checkmate it. And the people, the state government, the local government, go into the interiors and start farming. Organize sectors of cooperatives to go into farming. I support them with grants. And what I found out is that we don't do mechanized farming. The pizza farming cannot sustain the farming system. We need technology to support the farmers, and we need a sector to supervise all this implementation that I'm suggesting. Not just giving tractor, giving fertilizers to farmers without monitoring their uses.
Okay.
Because you can give fertilizers to people and they will sell it without using it, or they will take it to the neighboring countries. You can give tractors to people without monitoring them, and the tractors will not be efficiently used. So we need a sector, apart from the agric ministry or the minister, there should be a sector in the rural area that monitors and through the local government.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Pius, for calling in. There's a sense in which your question or your whole observations could be put into a round basket of how serious are we really about addressing these matters? By which I mean, I was just saying with Murray when we were away that, look, you see some heavy-duty capital projects going on, and we're in the middle of this crisis. What is going on? And bear in mind that I was speaking about the coordinating minister of the economy. He's seeing all of this. How is it that these things are going on? This prioritizing that Pius also spoke about here, they must be seeing some things that we are not seeing. Maybe that's it. What's your take?
So I think that the first thing is a historically long problem of public office, where when you get into public office, you get into a bubble that kind of disconnects you from the common man.
Okay.
Disconnects you from the reality. And then there's a political angle to it, where certain things are viewed as attacks from the opposition or acts that the opposition is taking on, right? And then there is the fact that government has a process flow of work. What we see is that oftentimes decisions made by government is with the next election cycle in mind. And so it's pivotal to ensure that certain capital projects or certain things are done because these things
are on ground and visible.
So,
as achievements.
Where would this government be able to do it better? There is a major communication gap that should address some of these things. Because some of these capital projects, when you now check and inquire, you will find that approvals and even payments may have been made a year before. Okay. And other considerations may be the reason some of these capital projects had not commenced at the time. But the common man who is hungry does not know that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so it's important that, you see, at this point in time, there must be no bridge of communication between the governed and the government.
Is it your opinion that we have something of that at the moment?
Well, it can be better.
The breach.
It can be better. Okay. There should be an improved communication flow.
Okay. Let me. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. I'll come back to you. But OK has called in from Oka in Anambra, and I've kept him for quite a while. Good morning, OK. Thank you for holding on.
Good morning,
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, again.
Morning.
Let me just tell you the facts in Nigeria. Our problem is ourselves. We know that there is inflation. We know there is problem. But the problem is ourselves, even the sellers. I will give you some instances in my environment. They are selling a bottle of mineral, 350, in front of my house. But there is a person who sells it 250 naira in the same place. But others that are selling 350 naira. Day before yesterday, the Coca-Cola company, started going shop by shop, telling the shops that they will bring the mineral to them directly, not the distributors again. A crate of mineral sold 5,000 naira to the dealers.
Yeah.
The dealers sell it 7,500 naira. Is it not problem to ourselves? Is it not our problem to ourselves?
Yeah.
So all those things, if a government can checkmate all those dealers, checkmate things that
all the middlemen,
everything will come down. But we know that there's inflation. We know that everything is costly in every way. The problem we put in ourselves is more than the way that government will do. And they check all the governors. How many governors is talking about the famine? The governors hold the lines. How many local governments is talking about the famine? There are none. Let me just say in Anambra here, I cannot see governor talking about farm in Anambra here. I cannot see any local government talking about farming in Anambra here. We have the land.
Indeed.
So our problem is federal government. Everybody focus on the federal government. Focus in federal government. What federal government can do. We are not talking about state and the local government.
Indeed, indeed. Well, thank you very much, okay, for calling in. Really appreciate your call. And once again, thank you very much for holding on for us for a bit. And what OK has referred to, you often hear people say that we ourselves, we Nigerians, we're our own problems. Look at corporations trying to cut out the middlemen because they know that this is not what we are releasing it to them for. And so there's no reason for some people selling even all these mineral waters.
Opportunistic pricing.
Some are selling at 500 naira. He was talking about 350. Some are selling at 500 naira. And this reminds me, I see on social media that some traditional rulers are actually going to the market now and calling the bluff of these people who are just putting these opportunistic prices, no economic rationale at all, but just because things are tight, so I'm going to have to make my own. Is that a major part of this problem?
Yes, it is a very integral one at that. But let's also, before I go to the main issue, let's also know that the middleman has costs, operational costs.
Yes.
That's also increasing.
Yes.
And so that operational cost is now eating into his profit. Mm-hmm. And you see, where there is inflation or price instability, the businessmen are not the ones that suffer. It is the end user who now pays more. All you just do as a business person is to increase your fees, increase your costs.
Yeah.
Right? And even though it's biting, it doesn't bite you as hard as it bites the end user or the consumer. So that is there. But if you look at the Constitution, and the beauty of law is that law contemplates and envisages certain issues. And that is why issues of markets, management and organization of markets is within the residual list. In fact, it's the exclusive purview of local governments. The duty of the local government is to manage relationship in the market, ensure that there's no price gouging, ensure that you have some level of stability, because that is the level of government that should come close to the average man. You and I must feel the impact of the local government.
But our local governments in Nigeria used to
so that has failed. That has failed. That has failed. And one way of solving this problem is to begin to return to the original contemplation of the law. And it's very simple.
Well, I was going it's good to say that. I was going to say it does sound a bit intellectual, but when you said it's very simple, I said, okay.
So every local government has a market administrator. Every local government has an administrator who is in charge of the markets in that local government. Mm-hmm. And if you even break it down, they have ward administrators. In fact, they are structured in a way to have small offices inside the markets. Now, these administrators have become literally non-existent. And so what happens in the market is that everybody has become a lord unto themselves. And the informal sectors are now determining things that they ought to determine in conjunction with government on the approval and agreement of government, bearing in mind the impact on the common man. That has, been wiped out.
That has been wiped out. So we have it's close to an economically lawless
I have continued to say that price control, price stabilization is integral to curbing this inflation. So you say to people, you are selling your product at XYZ. Mm-hmm. Someone will tell you that vegetable has gone up because fuel price has increased. Mm-hmm. Give me the nexus.
Yes. We have to
let's understand the nexus.
Miriam in Abuja, good morning to you, ma'am.
Morning, Uncle Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. Uncle Yuri, let me start by saying to you that you know that I'm an ardent Asiwaju supporter. I campaigned for him because I believed he was coming to do the right thing. When Asiwaju came, he had a lot of low-hanging fruits, things we thought he was going to do as soon as he became president. All the presidential candidates agreed that they were going to remove oil subsidy. He did that. He was brave enough to do that. But we thought he was going to do things differently. For instance, he came and he approved, or he allowed the senators and the members to approve the sum of 160 million to buy their cars. You tell us to buckle up. Nigerians are very patient people. Nigerians are very resilient people. We're ready to go with him the whole time. And when we saw the way they were going, or the way they are still going, they are approving 160 million for their cars. They are giving themselves all sorts of allowances. They are doing all sorts of things. And you want us to tighten our own belt. You understand? Nigerians are very, very... There were so many things. What stops Asiwaju from saying, okay, we're going to buy innocent motors? What stops him from saying, okay, we're going to go made in Nigeria? What stops him from saying, no, we're not going to do this? You understand? You cannot be doing all sorts of things in very affluent ways, and then you want us to tighten our belt. That is why Nigerians are angry, Nigerians are hungry. When you are hungry, nothing can. So I don't even like all this is political. Yes, that's why we have opposition. Opposition is waiting for it to take the very, very wrong step. And that is why they are there. So if you do the right thing, we will follow you. Or you cannot stay there. I hear him. What is NOA doing? Do we have NOA in this country?
I was saying.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Why is he not engaging the masses? Why is Asiwaju not engaging people? Why does he have to wait until when there's a strike coming up, then he starts engaging people? These are the issues, Uncle Yuri. Asiwaju should come out. Asiwaju should speak to people. Asiwaju should know that people campaigned and voted for him. He should not lock up himself and talking to people. He's only talking to people through Ingilani, through whoever. He should come out and engage people. He should come out and talk to people and pacify people. People are hungry. That's the purpose.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miriam, for calling in. As you were saying, some of these...
Bridge the gap, bridge the communication gap, right? And it's not even about the president. But let's now understand, if there's anything that we must understand, is that government, the president is one person. The National Assembly, they are an independent entity as far as the principle of separation of powers is. And so you now have to know that in choosing election, in electing public office holders, you don't just look at one position. Because no matter how good the president's view is, if he does not have the same mindset across other tiers of government, you have this challenge. Now, everybody is calling the president, and rightly so. But also with the same energy, you must start calling the governors. You must start calling the local government chairman. Listen, there is no state in this country today that does not have an administrative head of a local government. Thank God for the Supreme Court decision. A lot of them are now having elections to elect chairmen. But even at that, what are these local governments doing? How are they monitoring the activities in these markets? How are they helping bring you the dividends of democracy based on the monies that have been released to them from the federation accounts?
There needs to be a closer monitoring.
There needs to. So accountability cannot be one-sided. Accountability must be across board.
You know, and especially the point you made, I think Miriam also made it in her own way. This whole matter about a communication gap as to what exactly is going on. You know, Mazio Korafo, good morning, sir. You're our last caller. Go ahead now, quickly, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess. When we talk about this interest rate, whether at the seat of what they call it, and the local government, you see, we have a lot in this country. We have a lot to offer. We have a lot that we have excess that will go around all the 774 local governments in this country. But the question is that many environments, many people there, all these are not being announced. Look at the local government that our guest was just talking about. Do you know that this market people that we're talking about now, the middle level people, that's the middle level people, those unions are the people causing all these problems. And the local government that are supposed to monitor all this they are not doing it. Especially, they know that the days for market is, they don't go there. They don't decide. Look, let me give you an example. Try this thing very well. I planted Ogo and I took Dogo to the market. I told you to come and help me. You know when I got to the market, they were pricing me this Ogo to 500 naira per head. But there in the market, they were saying 4,000 naira, 3,000 naira.
Exactly.
And you know what is it? That as we go through why didn't I go through their union? How can I apply something? I come and go through the union before I sell those things in my own place. You see this as look, the area, the local government authority, the councillors themselves now, go into the market, go to the village and do the info. It's better for us. They don't do this.
Okay, Mazi. Mazi, we've almost run out. I'm so sorry.
Mazi, make sure you sell at 500. Don't sell at 4,000.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mazi.
He's making a point.
It's a fine place at which to rest it. So let me just take your comments on this. Because people are just doing what they want because of the failures that you identified earlier.
I was coming from Ife to Lagos. And just to do a social experiment, I saw people selling stuff, so I stopped. And I didn't see much that really caught my fancy, but I just wanted to do a test. So I bought a 4-leaf. I don't know what the leaf is.
Well,
wife is Yoruba, so
it's a vegetable.
Right, so I bought the leaf, and I said, Eloni, and they said, meteta 500. I said, by 300. They said, no, we are from 400, and I paid. And I brought that. And I brought it home. And then I asked my wife, so how much would this be? So maybe one for like 1,000.
That illustrates the point that we're making again as well.
And I think that...
Because she's reflecting the prices she knows in the local markets.
Exactly, right?
And you traveled.
Right, and I traveled. And...
So the middleman doing what they want.
And government is not. So you see, and it's even easy for them. Because really, all you need to do is to get people to do the right thing.
Well,
you have the apparatus of state. Get them to do the right thing for food sufficiency. Well, focus on those areas. And to end this, look, so you have SMEDA, small and medium scale enterprises. Now more than ever, SMEDA should focus on changing the data on food sufficiency by supporting staple food businesses, working closely. Listen, now is not the time for any highfalutin intervention. Now is the time to ensure that we don't keep going hungry and to restore the power and mandate of the middle class subsistence system for the lower class.
The very middle class that they said has now disappeared.
Yeah, because if that middle class does not recover to now continue to support the large line of people on the lower class that is supporting, what you will find would be insurrection, would be anger, would be hunger.
And that's the last thing
and that's the last thing any government wants. So empower that middle class. Let their cost of living come down so they can have the usual extra that they use to support those people. While government provides incentives and systems in place where you can now have lower class get empowered and invest in businesses and grow. But if you give 50,000, 20,000, what can he buy for you?
Thank you very much, Omori Edogiawere. You gave me a sort of a pass mark.
Yes, I'm thinking you the pass mark.
Startup business lawyer and economist. And also thank you very much to our guests who contributed to the program. Mazio, Cora for Pius, there's Miriam in there. You made it really interesting, contributing your insights into this problem as well. We'll leave it there for now, but as you know, it's a continuing subject, so we're going to address this. Cost of living becoming impossible. But let me just say, in spite of that, I do have a great weekend, and we'll meet, God willing, on Monday. Bye-bye for now.
I wish to welcome you all to the Global technology Africa suffers.
Our work encompasses a range of initiatives shaping a brighter future for Africa through the power of technology.
And I love talking about Nigeria's digital environment because you have some of the best laws on the continent.
How can we use technology to enhance productivity? We can change the narrative and get our people to invest more in technology.
We need Africa to help us all together solve the...
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. You're watching ShopX TV, home to some of the most popular international brands in Africa, including Gotham Hammered Collection, Genie Bra, Bionic Floodlight, Spot X, Total Crunch Evolution, and more. And we are now proud to introduce our biggest offer of the year, the ShopX Mid-Year Sales. Yes, from now until the end of July 2024, we will be offering our customers 20,000 Naira off this home fitness machine. SportX Digital Compact Treadmill. The compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 490,000 Naira in annual gym fees. Get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill to save the cost and work out of the convenience of your home. You would normally pay up to 400,000 Naira for the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill. But call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code and get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill for just 380,000 Naira, saving you 20,000 Naira. Incredible! But that's not all. You can get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill in 2 easy payments of 190,000 Naira. That's right! Pay twice to get this amazing fitness solution. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria, and it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. But hurry, limited stock available, so call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to TVC News at noon. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We're staying on the passage of the new minimum wage as the Trade Union Congress has called on President Bola Tinubu to sign the bill into law. The Congress also seeks President Tinubu's intervention in the crisis between a major stakeholder in the oil and gas sector and regulators over the quality of refined crude products. Jakadsa reports.
Barely 48 hours after the 2 chambers of the National Assembly gave accelerated consideration and approval to the 70,000 Naira minimum wage, the Trade Union Congress says Nigerian workers await presidential assent. The Congress commends the Parliament for expeditious delivery on the bill and calls on President Bola Tinubu to sign it into law.
As this has been passed by the respective National Assembly, waiting for the assent of the president, we hereby call on the respective state governors to ensure that this minimum wage is implemented to the latter. Whenever the president signs it, which we urge him to sign the minimum wage act immediately into law.
The Congress also speaks on the raging crisis between Dangote Refinery and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. TUC says if not nipped in the bud, the feud may impact negatively on foreign investment.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should bring all of them together and give them a marching order to go and resolve whatsoever issues that they have. Because the challenges that you may have, whenever we go to the press, whenever we go to public, and we keep castigating one another, we keep castigating each other, it is going to drive away investment.
And as the planned nationwide protest draws close, TUC calls on the Inspector General of Police, Kaode Egbetokun, and other security chiefs to guarantee safety of lives and property.
We don't want a situation whereby the protest goes on and at the end of the day it leads to violence. So we want to hereby call on the Inspector General of Police and the entire security agencies to do everything possible to provide security.
The Congress renews its call on the Central Bank of Nigeria to address the flotation of the naira so as to stabilize the economy and for the cost of goods and services to come down. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Ahead the planned nationwide protest, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayoade, called an urgent meeting with stakeholders in the state. Senior correspondent Ivy Kanu has details.
Desperate times, they say, call for desperate measures. For a state that is still counting its losses after the End SARS protest, it cannot afford to have another protest. So the need for this town hall meeting. It had representatives of different interest groups in the state. The message from the convener and Lagos State government was direct.
We don't want any protest. We might say, okay, we allow protests, let it take place if it's going to be peaceful. But the question is that we don't know where these protesters are coming from. So we will not allow them to come and take over our country. We will not allow them to come and take over Lagos.
We all see what has happened in Kenya recently. Everybody has come out after the aftermath